Guys, here we go with our next volume formula. Volume of a cylinder. Okay, as always, we're going to do our 5 steps. Write the formula, draw and label the base, calculate capital letters, plug in values for variables, solve. And that goes with our falling behind creates problems for students. Okay, volume of a cylinder. So I'm going to come over here to my formula chart. Volume of a cylinder. Same formula, volume equals capital B, which is area of the base, times height. So I've written my formula, volume equals area of the base times height. I've drawn and labeled my base. My base is a circle. I've got it labeled with the radius of 3 centimeters. Calculate capital letters. So my capital letter, area of the base, my base is a circle, so I need the formula for the area of the circle. Formula for the area of the circle is pi r squared. So I'm going to use 3 for pi in this example. 3 is pi, and then radius squared. My radius is 3 squared. Now we all know order of operations says that we do exponent before we multiply. So 3 squared is 9. So this turns out to be 3 times 9, which is 27. Okay, my next step is plug in values. My area of the base, volume equals area of the base. My area was 27. And then my height connects my 2 circles. My height is 5. So 27 times 5, you'll even see I've done my calculations over here to the side. It's 135. So the volume is equal to 135 centimeters cubed. I've also written the word estimated because I use 3 instead of 3.14. But also take note that even if you use 3.14, it is still an estimate because pi goes on forever. 3.14 is just an estimate of the actual pi number. But this is even more of an estimate because I only use 3. All right, my next example. Up here, I got a radius of 4 feet. I got my height of 10 feet. Step 1, write your formula. Volume equals area of the base times height. Step 2, draw and label the base. My circle is drawn. My radius is labeled. Step 3, calculate capital letters. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Pi times 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. I'm going to do this example and I'm going to leave it in terms of pi. So basically it just means I'm going to keep rewriting my pi symbol. If I were to solve it, then that just means I would take 16 times pi, whether it's 16 times 3 or 16 times 3.14. But if I want a very exact answer, I leave it in terms of pi because pi is that long number that goes on forever. And sometimes they'll do that. If they want an exact answer, you have to leave it in terms of pi. So next step, plug in my values. Area of the base is 16 pi. My height is 10 right here. 10 connects the 2 circles. So 16 times 10 is 160. So my answer is 160 pi feet cubed. Now remember, if you wanted to go ahead and get an actual number, it would be 160 times pi, 3 or 3.14, however you see your answer choices working. Okay, so that is our volume of a cylinder when we're given radius. Now, sometimes we're not given radius. Sometimes we're given a diameter because when you're dealing with a circle, you can have radius or diameter. So here's volume of a cylinder with diameter. I've got my formula written. Volume equals area of the base times height. Step 2, draw and label my base. I've drawn the circle and I've labeled my diameter of 6. I know that if I have a diameter of 6, I have a radius of 3 because your radius is just your diameter cut in half. Step 3, calculate capital letters. Area of the base is pi r squared. Pi times radius squared. Radius squared is 9. I'm going to use 3 as pi for this example. 3 times 9 is 27. Plug in my values. Volume is equal to area of the base, which is 27. We just solved it. Times 3. My height up here, connecting my 2 bases, is 3. So 27 times 3, I've even done the calculations over here, is 81. So volume is equal to 81 inches cubed. And again, I've written that that's just estimated because I used 3. Over here, I've got another example, 12 centimeters, height of 6 centimeters. volume equals area of the base times height. Write the formula. Step 2, draw and label my base. I've got my base drawn. I've got my diameter labeled. If I've got a diameter of 12, I've got a radius of 6. Pi r squared, I'm going to leave this example in terms of pi. So 6 is my radius. Always do what the formula calls for. It calls for radius. You use the radius. 6 squared. 6 squared is 36. So 36 pi is the area of my base. Plug in numbers. Volume equals area of the base, I just solved for it, is 36 pi. And then the height of the cylinder is 6. So 36 times 6 is 216. So my volume is 216 pi centimeters cubed. Whoops. If you could just tell, I use centimeters and inches, but your unit should stay consistent. That's just a typo on my part. So 216 pi centimeters cubed.